going on, people? I am back with a new video. What is going on? I wanted this video to come out so earlier, y'all, but YouTube was acting so stupid and it was crazy. I had a video up, I was ready to give it, but it's all good. Clearly it must have wasn't ready to come out because I was at home and I wasn't able to kind of be really open because my grandmother was standing right there. Even though I can, but I can't be really open like I am with y'all in every one of my videos. So some of the parts I wanted to curse, but I couldn't. But I am home and in my own crib, so fuck that. I am going to say what I'm saying. I am talking about the best album of all time. Today is the 21st anniversary of Mary J. Blige, My Life. Now, if you know about me and if you know who I am, I talk about this album all the time. If you follow me on any Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I talk about this album so much because this album, like I said, is my favorite album of all time. Oh my God, it just takes me back to a place when it was during the struggle and I understood what Mary was going through, but now I can look back on that album and say, wow, look where me and my mom came from 1994 to now. And it's just great that I can go back and listen to this album, and even though it takes me back to a place where the struggle was real, I can still feel good about this album and where I am now. So you see, I came in with My Life. That song is basically what Mary J. Blige brand and all that is all about. She tells you about what her life is and what the struggle is from anybody that's in the hood. Now this reminds me of Straight Outta Compton, the part where Dr. Dre is sitting there and he's listening to Brother Roy in his headphones and he's just vibing to Everybody Loves the Sunshine. And yo, I'm telling you, when I was in that movie theater, all the people that I was with, like my friends, looked at me because they know that's me. And they know I put on my headphones and I will jam out to soul to the fullest. But enough of that, into the My Life album. But first, I'm going to talk about, first of all, how I was introduced to Mary J. Blige. Like I said, as y'all know, Mary J. Blige is my favorite artist of all time. I grew up with her music. Her music, every album that she came out with, I was in a different place in my life. So when I was introduced to Mary in 1992, actually it was on the radio. And it was one day, me and my mom was chilling and we were listening to the radio because the radio is kind of all what we had. And we remember hearing this. We listened to the end of the song and we're like, who is this girl? And at the end of the song, the radio station guy said, this is a new artist. Her name is Mary J. Blige. She's from Yonkers, New York. She's with Uptown MCA Records and Andre Harrell and Heavy D. So they were just giving us who she was. So it was like, wow, we have to, who is this chick? So another thing, in South Carolina where we were, my mom was going to school at, we used to have a lot of parties where, in our house. So a lot of people would bring their tapes. Lord, don't tapes sound so ancient, like cassettes? And people brought them, and, when we would have the party, people would leave them. So, after the party was done that weekend, after we heard Reminisce, and after we had the party, we heard, and my mother was like, yo, somebody left the 411 album at the house. I was like, yo, Ma, you gotta play that. So when she put it on, this is clearly the first joint. I even like the Leave a Message. It was so hip-hop, but so soulful at the same time. And that's why they coined Mary as the queen of hip-hop soul, because she was just, she took a loop and she wrote it like an MC, but she was still singing, had that depth of soul in her voice. So with that album, there's so many hits off of it. I think also the one me and my mom plays the most off the album, me and her, because I also have one that I play by myself. But this is one of the songs that,
a sweet memory.
I'm trying to sing like Mary. Yeah, y'all remember I got my drink too, so it's no biggie. I actually beer this time, and I figured I'd drink it in like a beer mug. I got it from my 90s bar crawl, but I'm telling you. I see you before, baby. Like, oh my God, when that beat drops, it's just dope. Then, of course, I think everybody knows this one. Now, with Real Love, you got that. You got the Sweet Thing that she did with the Shaka Khan remake. Well, the Shaka Khan with Rufus, because she wasn't by herself when she did Sweet Thing. A lot of people try to say she wasn't, but she wasn't. She wasn't. She was with Rufus. And she tried to come at Mary when the song first came out. She said Mary was a little flat, but then years to go down the line, Shaka Khan, Mary wrote a song for Shaka Khan, and then they won a Grammy for it. How about that? But anyway, yeah, you got that. You got Love No Limit, which is another one of my favorites. But one of my favorites that I also realized is another essence of what hip-hop soul was, is this one.
See, I didn't want to ever hold you down, but till I need love better.
Changes I've been going through. I love that song. When I always say that song, everybody always talks about Real Love, but I always talk about changes I've been going through. That song right there, to me, is the essence of what hip-hop soul is. Like I said again, like using that Biz Markie sample and also using the Roy C and Honey Drippers, the Peace the President, using that, oh my God, and Mary just bodied it. That's why every time, like, say, DJ Envy or anybody that's doing a Mary mix, and I always try to tweet or even, you know, call in to say, please play Changes I've Been Going Through, because it just hits so hard. And then after that, you had the What's the 411 remix and all that good stuff. But before I go forward, we also have to go back a little bit. And this is plainly the reason why my video wasn't up, because, you know, this is this part that I'm talking about. But I'm not going to play the music. I'm just going to let it ride. But I feel like the blueprint for the My Life came from Brother Marvin Gaye's Hear My Dear album. Now, I was introduced to that album by my uncle Junior. His name, and my name is Junior. His name is Junior. It's so weird when we're at family functions. They call, it's like 4 Juniors in the family. So when they call it, we all answer. But I remember walking into his house, and he had these, all these records. And the one thing, of course, during that time, I knew a lot about Marvin. So anything that I see about Marvin, I will go to. So he had the Hear My Dear album. And I remember my mom telling me about it when I was little, saying, you know, this one he made about his wife, Anna Gordy, and he was, you know, he just talked about it. He just talked about, you know, his life into an album. And finally, after my Uncle Junior introduced that album to me, I actually went and got it myself. And when you listen to it, I'm telling y'all, it's like Marvin, because the Hear My Dear album, actually, Marvin went in to make a weak album because he had to give royalties to his wife. So he figured, let me go and make something weak and let me make something corny. But in reality, he went in and the ideas just started flowing, and all the emotions came out, and he made, you know, this album where he talked about his marriage. Songs like Hear My Dear, the beginning, he's saying, this is an album for you, and hey, this is for you. And then Is That Enough? Is That Enough is another song where you feel like you're in the divorce court with them. And Marvin is like, why does she have to get all this money? And why all this? And then another song called Anna's Song. Anna's Song he dedicated clearly to Miss Anna Gordy. And he's really going in. I'm telling y'all, like, Marvin really goes in. And every time I think about the My Life album, I feel like that album, Hear My Dear, is kind of the blueprint, because Marvin during that time, a lot of artists didn't put their life into it. Don't get me wrong, they would put a song, or they were more political or social about what was going on in the world, but nobody really talked about really what was in their personal life. And Marvin actually made an album to do that. And now, I don't know if Chucky Thompson, that produced the My Life album, was thinking about that, but I know him as a producer had to say, wait a minute, this is giving me vibes of the Hear My Dear album by Marvin, and I feel like that was the blueprint. So I wanted to take it back before I come forward. Now, the way we were introduced to the My Life album was one day. Again, we were listening to the radio, because one thing about me and my mom, and I see why I have such a musical, really musical background, is we had TV. We didn't have really a TV. We had nothing but the radio. So that's all we listened to. So we kind of knew what was new on the radio, what was hot, because back then on the radio, music was hot. It wasn't just thrown at you all the time. Maybe it was, but maybe it wasn't. And to me, I felt like in the 90s, that was just, it was good to hear what was going on, because it was real talent then. I don't know, maybe I'm throwing a little shade here and there, but it's the truth. It was talent. So I just remember us in the radio, in the car, and we were in the car, and we hear this. Now, we heard that. We already knew who that voice was. We was like, yo, that's Mary. She's back. Like, yo, she's back. And I'm telling you, me and Mom, like, back then, y'all remember when y'all used to go on your, when the radio was playing, you would tape it, and you would try to not get when, like, the next song of the commercial, so you just try to stop it, and we did, and we played that song over and over again. So, like I said, well, what's the 411? My mom had another party. Y'all see, we like to party. Like, we like to party. My family, we love to party, especially with music and food. We will party and party and party. And, when we invited everybody over again, this time, somebody left the My Life album in the house again, and I did not know it. So that just tells you right there that Mary was supposed to be a part of my life. Coincidence. She's supposed to be part of, my family, and we, after this album, we considered Mary our family. So, I come in the house, and I'm like, from school, and my mom's in the, she's cooking and, getting that right, and I walk in, and I hear this. Get that little ugly face, like, oh. Now, the first, off the break, it caught me because I'm hearing Close the Door by Teddy P. So I'm like, okay, alright. So I'm like, Mom, who is this? She said, oh, don't you worry, you'll know who it is. And then you just hear. I was like, oh, that's Mary. I was like, Mom, when did you get this? She was like, somebody left it in the house. I said, again? Somebody again left Mary in the house? I was like, come on, man. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So, now we played the album from beginning to end over and over. Y'all, it was so bad, we studied with the album. And I think we connected to this album so much because, we was definitely going through the struggle. During that time, we was definitely going through the struggle personally. And I think me and my mother understood the emotion in Mary. Like, we really understood that. And it was like my first time really realizing what soul really was. And I know that's crazy coming from me because y'all know I talk about a lot of old music. And I was introduced to old music before then. But I think in South Carolina, I really got what soul really was for me and the feeling of what soul is supposed to be. And during that time, like I said, we were going through struggles. You know, it was definitely some tough times. And this album definitely got us through. So now, you know, with songs like this. Y'all hear that, Curtis Mayfield? Come on now. Oh, that sounds so good, y'all. Mary was singing to KC. She was letting him know I'm the only woman. I hold on, let me get to the part that I like. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. If you really don't want me, I wish you let me know, and I will not so far away. Let me know. If you don't want me, let me know. Y'all see, ooh, that emotion is there, because sometimes I feel like that now. But, yo, Mary was really singing to Casey, and I don't know if he was not really feeling her emotion, because I know we damn sure did. So, another song. See? Make me drink my beer. Lord have mercy. Okay, did you really hear Mary loud and clear, KC? Clearly you didn't, because you just didn't understand. You just didn't get it. But I think everybody, when you talk about the My Life album, there's one song that I think everybody goes to. And that is this one. Time on my head since you've been away, boy. I ain't got no plans. No. Sounds so good to me. Sorry, I had to sing this tour version. I'm sorry, my bad. But everybody talks about that. Everybody knows just Mary walking down the stairs in the video with her suit on and her hat. And just, you know, that I think everybody kind of identifies with that song. Clearly, because now these new artists like Keisha Cole and K. Michelle and Ashanti. Ashanti's not really old, but they tried to use the princess of R&B and hip-hop. But anyway, they tried to use that as a marketing tool. Irv, I got it, but you get the side eye on that one. But every version, everybody uses Mary version. Nobody really sings it like the Rolls Royce version. But I know Norman Whitfield was a very happy man, because I'm telling you, man, this was, I guess, the gut of my life, really, if I can say so myself, because Mary felt like this song right here, I think when she talks about My Life, and she talks about how she was really crying out for help. And with this song, she was definitely letting you know, like, her world is going crazy and she needs help. Like, this album was crying out for help, and I think that's why everybody can kind of gravitate to it. And like one of my Mary Jane friends on not weed, y'all, but hey, do what you do, but Mary Jane, I'm in this group for the Mary J. Blige fans, and one of my boys, Deshaun, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he said, yo, this even gets the most hood dude in their feelings. Period. They will get in their feelings, and they will be singing I'm Going Down, and got they 40 in their hand, and they weed, and they rocking to it. So, you know, they respect Mary with that. Now. The song that I have to talk about, and hold on, before it even start playing. We ain't playing that right now, because y'all gonna get a good taste of what this song is about. Track number 9. Now, if y'all know me, and y'all know who I am, and clearly we've known each other from a couple of these videos, and a lot of y'all probably watch my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Let me tell y'all, with this song, I talk about this song so much that everybody knows that when I put this song up, Junior is in his own vibe. I Never Wanna Live Without You is absolutely my favorite Mary J. Blige song of all time. Period. It's no song to me that can really outdo this song. In my opinion, like I said, it's my favorite Mary J. Blige song of all time. Anytime I put it up on anything on social media, and if I talk about it, I said this song is 6 minutes and 17 seconds of musical heaven. I am telling you, you go through a roller coaster when you're listening to this song. It takes you through so many emotions, and it takes you through so much that the emotion and soul is all there. Like, oh my God, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, when it gets to 4 minutes and 31 seconds and it's beginning to, after the bridge, and it's taking you home, Faith is on this background. I'm telling y'all, to me, Faith can get on a song and she on a hook and she can body it. Sorry, y'all. Let me drink another drink so I can get that clearly. She gets on a hook and she bodies it. But this, the background vocals, this Faith, all I got to say is, Faith, you completely demolished this record. Like I said, I was so glad on I was watching when she was on MTV Jams and the album was just coming out and Mary was doing promotion, and she was with corny Bill Bellamy. Like, he's so extra. Like, especially back then. And Mary was so still hood, but still chill. But she was looking at him sometime like, yo, you're just straight extra. But then he started asking her what her favorite songs are. And she was like, You Gotta Believe. And she was like, Mary's Joint. But then she said what she started to love is I Never Wanna Live Without You. And I got a video on Instagram where I'm saying, as soon as she said that, I was like, you better go off, Mary. And I was just so happy that clearly Mary loved that record. And what's so funny about this song is Mary never performed this song live until her Music Saved My Life tour. And that tour was my first Mary J. Blige concert. My mom took me. It was at the Borgata in New Jersey. And I'm telling y'all, my mom got me. We were in the third row, and we was on the side. And I'm telling y'all, when I heard Can't Live With, y'all, I just froze. I even had my drink in my hand. I wanted to drop it. Well, no, I didn't really want to drop no drink. Now, wait a minute. Because it was vodka, and my mom knew. We not going to drop it. But I was like, when I heard that, y'all, it's just like I went into a trance. And Mary did the song, and I tell y'all, I was just wailing. Like, I was just crying because it took me back to that place where we were in South Carolina and the struggles that we were going through. And I just was like, wow, Mary never performed this song. And the first concert that I go to, she performs this record. And I was just staring at her. And I just remember, like, feeling like my mom just looking at me. And she's like, wow, he really connected with this song. And I'm telling y'all, it is amazing. But I'm just going to go to the part that I want y'all to hear and hear Faith Evans just body and Mary just riding on top of it.
Baby, won't you stay?
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, if I was able on YouTube to play the entire song, I absolutely would. Because I'm telling y'all, you cannot tell me that song is not dope. Oh my God, dope. Another one of my favorite records on this album is the Mary Joint. Now, I was just home for Thanksgiving, right? And I'm telling y'all, it is not Thanksgiving if me and my mother is not trying to sing this. Let's take our time and build our love from beginning ever. And my mom, and we just be so off, y'all. Me and mom be sipping, but we be so off, and it's so funny because when we do that, my grandma would clearly walk out. Because she was like, why are y'all like screaming? And it's like, Grandma, you don't understand the emotion and the feeling of that record. We, like, for one thing, we even got my dad, God bless his soul, because my mother even gave him the My Life album. See, it was some, you know, she wanted him to hear that. Hey, I ain't had nothing to do with that. It was none of my business. But my father actually loved this song as well. And my dad was a big hip-hop fan. But he loved this record, and every time it would come on, he would just be rocking, and then me and my mom singing. We ain't got no type of, woo, we got no vocals, but we in there, we trying to do it with Mary, because that's what we feeling. Another one, Be With You, that was another one that we love. You Bring Me Joy, what else? But the one that I think even the hip-hop heads respect, and you know, the remix, I think a lot of people play more than just the mix with Mary by herself, is this one. I shine, you shine, shine, we shine, we shine, shine, this is how we do, this is how we do, this is how we do, all day, every day. This is how we do. This is how we do every day, all day. Memory, I know you can hear me now. For the record, I love you. Oh my God, that's another one of a favorite. I'm telling y'all, see, I get so excited and hyped talking about this album because I love it so much. It's like, to me, I can't even play this album on shuffle because I know it so much. I will be like, I can't go from track 3 and it goes to track 17 and then it just shuffles. I can't do that with this album. When I hear a song, I have to play it from the beginning because this album tells a story, and it's Mary's story, and it's her struggle on how she's loving hard, and the emotion is there. And basically, like I said, Mary was crying out for help, and 3 million people got it. You know what I'm saying? I know for us, we probably brought the album over so much. Let me tell y'all, we brought the album so many times. I think literally, and this is no lie, I think we brought the My Life album over 50 times. Had to. And we had people in our lives that love it so much, like my brother V-Dub. He went and got it. He went and brought it because he's been with us for so long. We play it all the time. If it's not during the holidays, if it's just a regular night and we sipping and having a couple of drinks and things like that, we have to play this album. And it's just so classic. And it bothered me so much when Mary did the My Life 2. Now, I love her to death, but when I heard she was calling it My Life 2, The Journey Continues, I was so mad because I'm like, there's some time where you need to leave classics alone. I felt like My Life had it had its legacy of its own. Don't touch it. There's no need to touch it. Mary could have called it The Journey Continues, and that would have been fine. You know, in my opinion, I felt like the Mary album was a little bit of a part 2 to the My Life album, and then the Love and Life album was when Puff and her got back together. But one thing about the My Life album, what I don't like is everybody leaves out Chucky Thompson. Chucky Thompson is the reason for the My Life album. We're doing the London sessions. When I see him and I see Mary, I said, that's the My Life album. Puffy was the executive and he was the head of whatever, but that album is Chucky Thompson and Mary J. Blige, in my opinion. And people forget about him, and you can't when you're talking about the My Life album. You cannot forget, and Chucky Thompson is actually another one of my favorite producers that's clearly underrated. And clearly he shouldn't be underrated because he has a classic album on the top 500 albums of all time by Rolling Stone. So you cannot throw Chucky Thompson if you're not talking about the My Life album. Chucky Thompson has to get up in there. But you know, there was also some songs that were left off the My Life album as well. And I remember when I heard this. Now I remember when I heard that song, I think it was like 95-ish, middle of 95, I think, when we heard the song. And I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, why wasn't this on the My Life album? She was like, I don't know. But come to find out, they weren't finished, or they were finished and they just didn't make the cut. So they gave it to the show on the show soundtrack. So they gave it to that, and that song was on there. I just love at Madison Square Garden at the Live Aid, and Mary, it's raining, and Mary out there every day, and she rocking with her little fur coat, her little blonde wig, and she rocking, and the crowd is going off with her. And another song that didn't make it, but they kept Mary on the hook, and they added Faith, and they gave it to Big. And so they would stay with me, and they didn't finish it. So they had, I guess, the hook, or maybe the chorus, or the hook, or whatever, if I'm right or wrong, chorus or whatever. And they kept that, and they just gave it to Big for the One More Chance remix, and threw Faith on there, or Faith might have been on there already, and that was and you know, it ended up being a big record for Big anyway, commercially, because the One More Chance, the original version, that wasn't a commercial type of record. So to make this as the remix and had Mary, that was hot, and then had Faith, that was kind of like her coming out record, and then Big, you got a classic. Another thing, what I love what they did about the My Life album, because one thing about the My Life album that I really loved was What's the 411 and What's the 411 remix was about Mary and hip-hop. It gave her that hip-hop swag. You know what I'm saying? She was the queen of hip-hop soul. She came in, she sung on hip-hop loops. So that was kind of like the gimmick. So the next album, it was about Mary singing, and it was about just her singing, and it was just straight R&B. But what I like is what they added, that hip-hop flavor to it, by putting in the Keith Murray interlude. Now, one thing about that interlude is Biggie was supposed to be part of the interlude, but the label said no, because they would have to throw a parental advisory sticker on there. And as Mary, as an R&B artist, that would have killed it, and it would have not made buyers want to buy it. So what they did was throw Keith Murray on it with the Who Shot Ya beat. And Big went and Big recorded it and made it, and you know, I think it was just on a mixtape or whatever, but they did the master of Ready to Die, and they threw it on there. But yeah, so this just to show you that even though Mary was, you know, she was R&B, they still added that hip-hop flavor to it. That the I Love You kind of had that little bounce, but it was still hip-hop. And clearly Mary still had that hip-hop swag to her. So the album was going to be hip-hop to begin with, like Be Happy. I love the performance she did at the Apollo of Be Happy. You had the thugs in there just rocking the Mary. And she just, as soon as that beat dropped, they went crazy. And you know, it was just like, right then and there, Mary was the queen. Like, you could not deny her. And with this album, I think this put Mary, like, in a legacy of her own. It was like, wow, Mary is speaking for all the girls that was looking up to her. Because during that time, you had Mariah, you had Toni, you had Whitney, you had all these girls wearing the gowns and singing and had these beautiful, you know, angelic voices and, you know, very, very sexy and all that. But Mary came in with a bubble coat, a blonde wig, some shades, some jeans, some boots, and represented for the hood. And that's what the My Life album did. It represented for everybody in the hood. Like I said, you know, like my boy Deshaun said, even the hoodest dudes can respect this album. Like, I just did a podcast with my boy Kill and his wife, and they talked about it, and they just talked about how they went to Howard and everybody was on it. Dudes, females. you know, when we did What's the 411 versus My Life, you know, Kill was like, My Life is better to him than What's the 411, and I totally agree. Clearly, it's my favorite album, but you know, it just shows you that even hip-hop dudes respect that album so much, and that's why this album has such a legacy of its own. It can't be touched. I love the era. You know, even though Mary was a little scared and nervous in interviews and things like that, but, you know, at the end of the day, it was her, and this was the essence of Mary, and I think this album was the blueprint for so many other chicks that look up to Mary. Like, you know, Keisha Cole, she's definitely been following Mary because her, That's the Way It Is clearly was What's the 411-ish. Just Like You is her My Life. That's what I feel like. That's her My Life. You got K. Michelle with Rebellious Soul and Anybody Want to Buy a Heart. You follow the blueprint, which was Mary My Life, and you kind of make it current, and that's what these girls are doing now, and that's why this My Life album has to get respected. Another one, Adele. Adele came out with her 19 and 21 and her recent 25. These albums Adele cannot sit here and not say she was not influenced by Mary with the My Life album, because nobody then, before Mary, was putting their personal into an album about a dude. Like, Mary was really telling the world, and it was like she was this was her open book to the world, and this is who I am, accept it or you won't. And now, that's what a lot of people do. So when you hear a lot of interviews with the current artists right now, and they're saying, you know, this album is very personal to me, and I put my personal life into it, and the first thing I go back to, I'll be like, Mary, and I take a sip on that because I'm right. Can't hate on that. You cannot hate on that. But also, with this album, My Life, came out some great remixes. The I Love You remix with Smith and Weston, if I'm not saying their names right. I could be saying them wrong. The All Night Long remix with LL Cool J. What else? Be With You. Lauryn Hill got on that, did her verse on there. You had, oh God, what else? I think that's pretty much it. But my favorite remix is the one that I'm going to go out on. But like I said, y'all, I love the My Life album. This album is me. It's my family. It's me and my mom. This album brought me and her closer together. I feel like this album is definitely a legendary album. You cannot talk about Mary without talking about the My Life album. She talks about it. Any album Mary talks about, she goes back to the My Life album. That's how much it's precious to her, because she was able to put more of herself into it. She was doing a lot of the writing and the direction. With the What's the 411, she wasn't kind of able. They gave her the songs. You felt the emotion, but it wasn't her words. The My Life album was her words, and that's why it's a baby to her. And Mary, with the My Life album, she became part of my family, and ever since then, we have brought every album on and over and over and over. But the My Life, we have brought so many times. Mary has gotten so much money off of it. I can't even tell you how much Mary, you know, money she got from us, which I don't even mind, because I was on my way home from Jersey from the Thanksgiving holiday, and I was looking for it in my car, and I can't even find it. So I had to play it from my phone, because clearly I have it digitally. I might have to go out tomorrow and go buy me the My Life album so I can have it in my car. But I also want the vinyl too. So I got to find that one. But I think I took up a lot of time talking to y'all about the greatest album of all time. And I think, like I said, I'm going to go out with actually my favorite Mary remix. And it is this one.
You don't stop. Keep on.
Remember all the days when loving you was easy. You used to hold and squeeze me all through the night.
Alright, y'all, peace.